Okay, so I've been here for almost 5 years now. I think we're 8 years old now, so Murundaka was still pretty new. Like 3 years old isn't actually very old in a co-housing community establishment. I had been living in the Northern Territory for a very long time and did some travel overseas, came back to Melbourne for a range of reasons, and being the age I am, was starting to think about, my future and where and how I was going to live. And cooperative housing.
Can I be blunt and ask how old you are?
I'm 64 this year.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was, just a bit before 60. So 60 was looming at the time.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, that's never been an issue for me, because I've always been really able-bodied and resourceful, and I've seen myself as a useful share house person, or I guess I always imagined if I was going to live like this, I would do it in the country on a farm, living in a caravan or something. And that still might be a choice I make in the future. But cooperative housing, just really tickled my fancy in terms of, a group of people taking responsibility for their housing and sharing how to do that. I don't think I had a consciousness at the time quite. I mean, I think I've lived with sustainability principles as my kind of core way of being, but not through a well-developed analysis. Like, I'd never seen myself as a greenie or, but I'd lived in that kind of simple way just because it felt right. So it's been a huge development in my awareness, and I'm a community development worker. I've worked for years and years supporting other communities, and I just decided it was time to be part of my own community in a more fundamental way, in a more day-to-day way. And so I was just looking up where cooperative housing was and what I might, be interested in putting on the application form, and I saw this and went, oh my God, oh my God. I work in, urban agriculture, that's my paid work. I came to visit here. My first visit was a fundraiser that the community had organised called a solar lounge party, and that was to create the money to set up an effective solar system here. The community has it's called an energy freedom project.
Mm-hmm.
So bit by bit we're working on all the associated things we need to do to end up being able to just create our own energy requirements here. I was lucky enough to be asked for interview and chosen, and I guess what I love about this is that I get my own completely self-contained unit. I can close the door, I can be in my own space, or I can, be a part of what's going on otherwise. Like, I've got absolute choices about how I live. I really need to have children in my life, so living in a multi-demographic community, to have a whole range of age of people, like, totally does it for me. And it's affordable, obviously that was one of my motivations as I age and my income gets lower, knowing I could afford to live. But to afford to live in this way is just extraordinary. The benefits are amazing, but it's a balance sheet. Like, there's often periods of time where the challenges are as amazing as the benefits. So I think the only people who really remain in co-housing, well, certainly in social housing, this is quite different to co-housing where people have put the money in and have, like, very specifically chosen that way of living, I think. So there's more turnover here than in other co-housing communities, I think. And that's hard work. It's really hard work, having to just deal with just the emotions of people moving on, and for me especially children moving on. But yeah, the balance sheet, always is in the positive, no matter how tricky it is. Like, I've just this week, had surgery, and just been totally loved up. I've had meals delivered to my door. I've had people checking in to see how I'm going, what I need. I'm kind of coordinating the working bee here today, and everyone's kind of saying, Kaz, don't do anything. Yeah. It's, but also like representing a different way to live, and being a part of what feels like sort of cutting edge requirements for us to all be choosing to be living really differently with what resources we utilise, what local connections we have. It's an amazing extended local community here. We're all really connected to the transition movement. So in Banyule there's heaps of local groups. So great things happening on that level. We lobbied after having a climate change conference 2 years in a row a couple of years ago. We lobbied local council, who were the second or third council to end up deciding to declare a climate emergency. So lots of political action, social support. I'm a gardener, so like the opportunity to be working on developing this garden has been amazing. I've rented always, and you only grow what you can. You don't do any long-term planning when you're in a rental, and this has just been extraordinary. And days like today, where a big bunch of people are out here loving it all up and making it happen, it's beautiful.
Great.